Okay, so we've got an exercise routine here, or a training exercise routine, where we're doing one forehand, one backhand, alternating. You'll see that I'm using a step shuffle step movement, and so is Josh at the back. We'll concentrate on my movements, and I'm about to break into a hit and run. So there's your hit and run, and a lot of people tend to like to have just step towards the ball versus a shuffle. And I don't normally do this, so it might look a little bit awkward simply because I don't do it. But as soon as I break back into the shuffle motion, you'll see it becomes more fluent, more consistent, more capable, all sorts of things. And there it is there. So all of a sudden we just slip straight back into the what I call as a fluent motion. And it's quite a good system of moving. It flows really well. You get really good energy use, and you're really, really capable with how you move around the court and your options as you get there, balance and all sorts of stuff. So we have a look at the transition again. Here's the run, and you'll see it's just awkward. And then we break into the shuffle, and then off we come. There's a few rules with the shuffle step motion that really make a difference as well, but we can go through all that. So we're going to take a look at the forehand side and the backhand side, and I've got a few things on the screen. So we've got the top one, which is our shuffle step motion, and we've got the bottom one, which is our hit and run motion. So I'm on the forehand side at the moment, and this is up there on the right hand side. I've got all these points that we are going to talk through. So all these, I think that it's quicker, it's less stress on your ankles. You can turn in midair, you move in the direction of your hip drive. Your legs power earlier, and using the same muscles as your split step, as I said, and it aids racket prep, which is quite an interesting one. Once you learn and see that happen, you'll understand that completely, and you get to relax for a split sec versus driving your body all the way through, and you float through the air. All right, so we'll go through each one of those quickly on forehand and backhand, and you'll get an idea of just how much benefit there is to each one of these. If we take a look at the forehand, and you see I'm trying to hit the ball at the same time on both the top and the bottom. So if we look at our ankles for a start, and we'll see that once you come in, like the top one, I'll put my foot back here, so my foot's already grounded, my back foot's already grounded because my front foot is just pushing up. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing up, I'm driving my body up through here. So my body's driving up this way to get back over that leg, and it's just a lifting of your body, which is quite a capable way to go, rather than trying to push back this way, which you'll see will happen. What'll happen is this leg will come in here, and then it'll just come in that much further, whereas the other one's already taking off. So I'm already back in this direction, so I'm already going back slower than this one will. So I'm going back slower than this one will, but I'm going back so much earlier. And you'll see that happen, and it's quite amazing just what happens. So it's early action on your body that's going to save all your effort and time versus the power drive off the lower one, which is really good for power driving. But you'll find out that it's not as beneficial as it seems. Okay, so that's that back foot coming in, and the stress on your ankles is that see, I'm only just pushing backwards. I'm just moving backwards and turning at the same time, versus a really push off that ankle on the bottom one. See, the bottom one, I'm really pushing off the ankle, so I'm really pushing off a side direction here. So that's really pushing through here off the side of your foot, whereas my foot's still facing back this way, and everything is still in line. So your whole body and your whole leg drive through here is all still in line. So things are really good versus working off an angled side of your body to try and get power through your body. So it makes a big difference. It's pretty phenomenal what happens and the benefits of it, the shuffle one. Now, the stress on your ankles, because you're turning mid-air, it's really, really quite good. So we have a look at the top one. So you come in, you come back, you push up, and then you just settle your back foot, and then you float through the air, and now my foot is facing this way. So my foot's gone from, in the top one, my foot's gone from facing this direction, which is here, and it will go out to facing this direction here, and it will turn in mid-air. So there won't be any stress on your ankles because all the major turn is done in the air. And that's just quite amazing how it works and what happens. So if we watch what happens, it's from here. We'll go up. You'll kick up off that back foot, and that foot's turning in midair, turning. And there it lands. So that one lands from facing the sidewall, and it lands to now facing this way. So it's gone from facing that way to facing that way. So it's pretty cool. It works really, really well. We can have a look at the other one down the bottom, and there seems to be more, let's say, angle turning of your body, of your ligaments and so on in your ankle. So I'll bring the back foot in, and then you're really pushing out and then turning through. Anyway, it's an interesting thing because the float and the turn in midair is a really good thing. So you tend to just get that extra drive across the court, and this makes one complete less step because of the float through the air. So it works really well. If we talk about the backhand side, and we watch what happens from there as we come in, and we're hitting at the same time here, so we're hitting at exactly the same time. Once again, you come up, and that back foot is a bigger step. It's a bigger, it's back further, so you actually can drive off that back foot further, and then you'll take that step. So now my step there is quite close to the tee versus the one at the bottom, and the float. So I'll land now my back foot. So now I've landed my back foot, and the difference there from the tee, once again, is pretty amazing. So that's almost at the tee there, yet that is such a bigger step, such a bigger motion, such a bigger space. So it really is a big difference in the distance from the tee to your foot on that back foot once you're in the right direction to drive. So now I'm 2 steps away versus being 3 steps away. So it's phenomenal. And if we keep going, right, so we've got our drive of our hips. So with the split step, you actually push off your outside foot. So all I'm going to do is get over my foot, and then I'm going to push off sideways versus turn and then try and run. So what that means is my hips are currently in this direction here, and I'm going to push off in that direction. So I'm going to push off that way off my outside foot. So off my outside foot, I'm going to push off that way. This one you're going to turn around, and then so you're going to turn around and then you're going to drive off that foot. So it means that you don't tend to flow. It tends to be almost not totally 2 different movements, but it does make a difference as to how much you can drive across versus turn. See, I'm just turning down the bottom, turning. You are pushing off your outside foot a bit there, but you don't have that flow and drive. I've already got the momentum on the top one, whereas the bottom one I'm now going to start to drive off this leg, and I've got to work out how many steps and all the rest of it, where I'm currently floating through the air that we spoke about. So it's that float through the air. And we talk about the one with no stress, so there's less stress because you're relaxed for a split second as you float through the air. That's the relax versus the drive. So what's happening here is now I'm having to drive off this one here, and currently I'm just relaxed. Everything is just relaxed through here, whereas it's having to be a full drive of your body on the bottom one. So it makes a difference as to how much you push and drive through. And now I've got to work out how many steps. This one I've only got to work out 2 steps, so it's a land your foot and get the right distance. Whereas the other one I've had to work out 3 steps to get the right distance. So it's 1 on the bottom, then 2, then 3. And you see how much quicker it is. Like I'm already across, and I haven't tried to go faster. It's just the motions, the natural motions. So now I'm striking the ball versus haven't landed my foot yet. So there's a massive difference in the timing and how much time it takes you to actually do the shot and complete the shot. Let's look at racket preparation. That's a phenomenal one. So the racket preparation, because the bottom one, if we watch the bottom one, what happens is you tend to run, and if you run with your arms around about your hip height. So I've swung through there, and then I'll drop my racket, which is a natural thing to do. Everybody does it generally. And then I'll just run like I normally would run with my racket around my hips. Okay, so that's a normal running motion there on the bottom one, where you see your body's just ready to go and I'm trying to power through. Look how relaxed I am on the top one versus the amount of work I'm doing on that one. Look how far across the court I am. I'm level with the tee virtually versus one whole step almost away from the tee. So the benefits are just phenomenal. And then you come across and you see the racket stays, now has to go up from the bottom one. So it's gone up and down. I'll just go through that really quickly again. I'll just hold my finger on the slow motion button. I'll have to click it through. Okay, so the racket goes down, watching the bottom frame, and then you come in and then you go, oh, I better prep, and then you lift your racket up and you get your racket back and then you prep. Let's look at the top one. So the top one, racket's prep, we come in, we drive. So the racket will stay around about my shoulder because it's a very natural thing to do when you're floating. You're just turning across. You're not actually using your hips, your lower body. It's all just float through the air. So my racket will stay relatively in a prep position for longer. Therefore, you're more stable and ready to play anything. So a volley or a drive or whatever. So that you're in pretty good nick. So we watch the backhand side. These are my natural movements. I wasn't concentrating on anything as in to show one thing different to another. It was just me just doing the movements. So it's quite interesting for me to learn this and for me to see all this as well. Okay, so there's your follow through. I'll also show you this just quickly while we're here. You'll notice that currently still bent over versus now heading towards a more upright stance already at this point in time of the movement. So that makes a difference as well. So then we come out, watch the follow through there. So racket's up. Now my racket's going to drop down to my hip naturally because I need to run. So this one is going to stay up because I can, because it's a natural movement for it to stay up. So it's easy for me to keep it up there. Now I'm already prepped, whereas the bottom one I go, oh, I better get the racket up. So now I've got to come forward and get the racket up, and now it's all too late versus coming in early with the racket up. And it's just phenomenal how much difference it makes in timing or the ability to play a quick volley or a quick drive or a quick anything. So it is a real benefit, a massive benefit. Alright, so I believe it's much quicker. I think there's less stress on your ankles. You can turn in mid-air, which takes all the stress off your ankles. You drive in the direction of your hips, which is pretty cool. Your legs power earlier, which means you get to transition across the court much earlier off your shot, so you come off your shot quicker, and it's the same muscles you use as your split step. It aids your racket preparation, so it's more natural to run with your racket higher in a prep position, and you are relaxed for a split sec, so it's less energy, and you're using your energy in different areas in different ways. The float through the air is the one that really makes the difference, because as soon as you transition here, you'll see it, there we go, and we're into the float. So now we're just floating across the court using energy wisely, and that energy usage is really critical as you get really good, because all of a sudden you can actually control and use your energy the right ways rather than actually using it the wrong ways. The last thing I'll tell you is that you actually come off the ball so much better. So you come off the ball really well. So you come back when you hit. Here you'll come back when you hit. So you can really drive up. And that driving up, you drive your body up to a really strong position, so it works really well. So there you go. That's your comparison between this one, which is your float one, and this one, which is the run one. And it makes a big difference in your ability to look unreal on the court, but secondly, to use your energy efficiently and get around the court, get anything back, and it's pretty phenomenal. I can't watch that one too much more, so I'll just finish off with the float one, which is the one. And that's the one where you start to get sharp, fast, capable. You can really use your body well, but it's the balance and the usage of your flowing motions through the ball. Unreal. Get into it. I think you'll love the step shuffle, step floating.